Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
If you can survive!
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my good brother from the Fight Game Podcast. It's John LaRocca. How's it going, man?
It is going good. Was this what we did like 3 weeks in a row? Then when I was off a week, now it feels like a long time, man. It feels like too long. I'm glad to be back on In The Kliq podcast to talk some wrestling, some NWA talk. I mean,
Yeah. Dude, I'm super excited, which, by the way, I just want to give a shout out. I wore this shirt on purpose. I'm wearing from Pro Wrestling Tees, my Stone Cold Steve Austin King of Attitude shirt. It's the face of him bleeding against Bret Hart, which is the anniversary today where he took on Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13. I just want to double check. I don't want to screw up because anyone.
WrestleMania 13, and I just covered that with Gary Gonzalez for the Fight Game Podcast Patreon for our 1997 Raw review. So we watched a little WrestleMania 13,
nice,
and the Raw afterwards. Before it was the the Raw after Mania when it became such a big deal.
Yeah,
this time around, it was famous for this year. It was famous for the famous Bret Hart heel turn promo. So
yeah,
we relive that again. So. But yeah, great match. One of probably the all-time great WrestleMania match in history. Bret Hart versus Steve Austin, and changed business, right? Changed at least created Stone Cold Steve Austin to be the superstar he is today. So.
Absolutely. So yeah, it was March 23rd, 1997. God, 24 years ago now, out in Illinois, Rosemont, Illinois. So right outside Chicago, I'm guessing. But yeah, that match. I just remember, it was a double turn. I mean, ultimately, let's see, I'm just looking at Twitter real quick. So yeah, Stone Cold tweeted this morning some highlights from that match, and he said, "This match made Stone Cold. Bret Hart is one of the all-time GOATs." Hell yeah. So it's just cool. Stone Cold acknowledges it and just gives thanks to Bret Hart for help making him that night. So, oh God, just watching these highlights again, man, it's just the storytelling in these highlights. I'm like, oh my God, it's just like the emotion and just the hard hitting and, Bret Hart doing the figure four on the ring post outside. Oh, and then the blood and Ken Shamrock as the special referee that night. Such good memories there. But, what's that?
A whole nother world. It feels like wow, man, they had wrestling then. There's some good wrestling now. I don't want to ban modern wrestling today, but that's some elite level stuff there. That Bret Hart, Steve Austin up there with one of my favorite matches is my all-time favorite match is Ric Flair Terry Funk, the I Quit match from Clash Champions 9. Just because I just felt like those guys hated each other and they wanted to beat each other. Same thing with this match here. Like right off the bat, Bret Hart and Steve Austin just start going at it, and it's all around the building and blah blah blah. And I don't know. God, it's beautiful professional wrestling.
You said it perfectly, man. I just, like I said, watching those clips back today, just getting all nostalgic and being a kid and watching that, and just the double turn and Stone Cold passing out with the blood running down his face, and just really became more of the tweener. And really, making the turn to babyface. And, honestly, I was thinking, I didn't tell you this off the air, but an idea I had. I know, I'm always trying to think of, bonus episodes if I ever want to do, a Patreon or something. I was thinking about, I think I told you this before, doing, reviews of the Ruthless Aggression era, and maybe like doing reviews of like the old takeovers. I didn't see every NXT takeover, so maybe go back and watch some of the old ones. But another one, and I was kind of inspired by the Jabronis podcast, the guys over at the Two Jabronis podcast on the Blue Wire Network. They do a special podcast about The Rock. I was like, maybe I should just do like a Stone Cold one and just go back and rewatch his classic matches and review those and just relive my childhood again. So I don't know, just a bunch of random ideas in my head. So that's something.
Go back even further to like USWA versus Chris Adams.
Yeah.
Running WCW and see his growth there. I love Steve Austin. I just watched. We used to get USWA out here in the Bay Area on like some freaking UHF channel.
Really?
And so I got to see a lot of the Steve Austin, Chris Adams. Steve Austin, Jeannie Clark, Chris Adams' former wife, and now with Steve Austin versus Chris Adams and Tony Adams, who I had a big crush on as a kid. And rest in peace. She's unfortunately passed away years ago. But she, that feud was so good. And then I was like, because he's like this hot young rookie. And then he won, like, back when I used to care about the stuff, like PWI Rookie of the Year. He won Rookie of the Year. And I'm like, oh, man. And then he goes to WCW. I'm like, we never get anyone. Like, I was a big WCW guy. But we never get the hot young stars, right? They always go to WWF. And so when he went to WCW, so I was like, I feel like he's like one of those guys you feel like, you see a guy in the minor leagues, you're like, he's going to be a star, and you follow his whole career. It's kind of like I feel with Stone Cold. So I always have a special place in my heart for Steve Austin. And,
nice. Awesome.
US title run in WCW, man, I was hooked. I used to like grow my goatee out like him. I was like such a big nut, and it's awesome. And he still is awesome. He's great. He's a great dude.
Yeah. And then I can't wait to see his A&E biography episode. I saw like the teaser for it on YouTube the other day, and that's coming, I think, in April. So it's weird. Like WWE Network, or I guess now Peacock, they have the Icon series. We talked about Yokozuna. The next one is, I think it'd be Beth Phoenix. I gotta double check. So that's one documentary series on different WWE superstars in the past, legends. And then A&E is doing another set of like biographies on a different set of wrestlers. Stone Cold, I think Booker T. So it's interesting. Like, it's almost like on paper, it just seems like the same thing, but it's just different names and under different umbrellas. So, I mean, it's all over the place. There's so much just content, and I still got to catch.
Do for A&E, like, I know that's cool. Steve Austin, Booker T, like these like legendary names and stuff, but like, throw in a Roman Reigns documentary about his life and struggles, with his illness and fighting back from it. And like, because he's a current star, it may be someone that not a wrestling fan has to watch, that documentary on Roman Reigns. Is like, wow, this guy's pretty inspiring. He's still wrestling. I'll tune into that Fox show on, watch Roman Reigns. I don't know, just kind of draw some new fans instead of just older fans. But
yeah, absolutely. No, I'm with you. It's mix it up. I mean, some of the newer talent, and then that way you watch it and you kind of become a little more invested and know their backstory. So when you see them on TV, you're like, oh yeah, I know they did this and that, and that's how maybe you can kind of build up more of the current talent's bigger stars and stuff like that. So I'm with you, man. No, it's no, anyway, I just, like I said, when Stone Cold was tweeting that stuff out today, I was like, what? Oh, that's so cool. And just like I said, wrote down memory lane for me. It's good stuff. But yeah, here we are back at it. So much to talk about in pro wrestling once again this week. So you and I were super excited. It was the official return of the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, Billy Corgan's version of it after over a year, almost a year of being on hiatus, obviously with the pandemic and stuff. And we've talked about that many times. Billy Corgan was like, hey, listen, we're a studio show and we rely on the audience, so we're not going to have an audience in-house right now. We're going to be safe. They finally announced that they're going to come back, and so they had their first big pay-per-view this weekend on Sunday, which at first, when I saw they announced NWA Back for the Attack, I was like, oh, okay. And I casually looked at the date. I was like, oh, cool. It's going to be on Saturday. And then I looked closely, like, oh, it's Sunday. And I was like, it's the same day as Fastlane. What? And I looked at the time, I was like, oh, it's like 3 hours beforehand. I was like, oh, okay, good. All right, smart move on their part. If it's going to be the same day as a WWE pay-per-view, at least it's going to be earlier in the day. But then I talked to my brother and I was like, oh man, this is going to be an extra long day of 2 shows back to back. But so all day Sunday, we were just watching wrestling. So yeah, Back for the Attack. It was on Fight TV. It was announced NWA has like this new partnership with Fight TV, and we'll get more into that in regards to Powerrr and stuff. But yeah, John, just kind of your initial thoughts for Back for the Attack, the pay-per-view. We'll kind of go through the card real quick and some of the other things, observations we had. But yeah, just overall takeaways from the show.
I thought overall it was a fun 2-hour watch. Like you, I thought like it was a Saturday night, and I was thinking like, what wrestling's out there to watch? And I saw that they had pay-per-view coming, and I was thinking about it, and my buddy Brian was in on it too. So we're like, let's get. Then I was like, I told him like, yeah, I told him Saturday as well, and he's like, oh, okay, cool. We're like, yeah, and then I was like, wait a second. It's not. I was going to check the time again, make sure I had it correctly. I was like, oh shoot, Sunday. So kind of threw me off a little bit, but I kind of broke it up and watched it here and there, and I really enjoyed it. All in all, I thought it was a really good professional show. NWA, it was a majority of the guys were experienced guys, which made the in-ring work really good. You had the guys also have been on. These guys have worked in front of national television, in front of big buildings, so they know what to do. So it was refreshing to see some just good professional wrestling on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So they filmed the same studio that they've been doing Powerrr all of end of 2019, early 2020. So I was like, okay, cool. They're back at the same studio in Atlanta, Georgia. And they didn't really, for obvious reasons, they didn't really use the camera to go pan where would be the seats for the audience. But like a couple times the camera did have to go over there because that's where the wrestlers were going. And I noticed, wherever seats, I guess it's like bleachers. I'm guessing like a high school gym where you pull the bleachers out to look like they're all pushed in. And there were some people sitting there with masks on. So I don't know if that's crew or just select people that were there. They were making some noise, so it's not complete dead silence. I'm like, okay, cool. Joe Galley back on doing commentary. Most recently, before Powerrr went on hiatus, it was Stu Bennett, aka Wade Barrett, as the color commentator. Obviously, before that was Jim Cornette. So obviously, Wade Barrett is back with WWE doing commentary for NXT. So big question was like, who's going to be his commentary partner, color commentary? And it was Tim Storm. So how'd you think Tim Storm did his first time doing commentary?
I think Tim Storm did a great job, actually, as color commentary. He had some history with some of the guys and former NWA champion. So, and he was really good at even covering up some moves that they did and strategy. I thought he did really well. I liked it when it was just Galley and Storm, but even though Austin Idol, I love Austin Idol. Chris had a great promo, and just I love Memphis wrestling.
Yeah,
but like I thought that main event he kind of took over a little bit in that main event, and Tim Storm was kind of like
third wheel.
And then on Powerrr, you had Velvet Sky out there, who kind of going forward, I just want to say to Billy Corgan and NWA, just keep it Galley and Storm. I think you have a good crew there.
KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. That's our motto at work. Keep it simple. Tim Storm, I think, I don't know what his long-term plan as far as wrestling still. We all know he's an older guy, so maybe this is a way of transitioning out of wrestling and, doing commentary. And so, I was like, okay, I think that's a good spot for him. And then, also, I think it's good for him to stay in the public eye, and I think he'd earned a place on the commentary team just because he was champion. He was with the NWA, the face of the NWA, for those years when they were kind of really out of the public eye. And Tommy's infiltrating the podcast. Did you want to sit down? He wants to hear it so Tommy was with me watching NWA as well. But anyway, so what I'm saying for Tim Storm, I always had respect for him because he was trying to, I think, the face of the company and holding it together when they were, like I said, not as popular, not in the public eye in those years when he was like champion and stuff. And so I'm really happy for him that NWA, who's got this big resurgence over the last couple years now, that he's able to be a part of it. And so I think he's earned that opportunity to be a color commentator. And so it's like I said, I don't know how much wrestling wants to do left, but this is a way to kind of keep him under the NWA brand. More power to him. But yeah, at one point they had Taryn Terrell, used to be TNA.
Oh, yeah, right. She was the during the Thunder Rosa Camille match. She did.
Which I forgot she is Drew McIntyre's ex-wife, because I was like looking up and I was like trying to remember, who was she? Because it's been, I think it's like 6 years since she's wrestled, and I looked it up and it said on Wikipedia Drew Galloway 2010 2011. I was like, Drew McIntyre? Oh yeah, that's right, that's his ex-wife. So she joined a commentary
with more people than NWA, especially some wives. That's kind of interesting, but like it's yeah, that's I totally forgot. I'm like, who is this girl? I don't remember her. And then all of a sudden it kind of clicked, and I remember she was on Impact, and of course WWE did some Impact stuff, and she got pregnant. You had to like take a step back, right? And then
I think, I was skimming real quick, but yeah, I think she was at the Dollhouse in TNA or something. Richard, also from In The Kliq, he's a big fan of her. So when I told him that she was there, he was like, oh, he got all excited. But I just, her commentary was, not that good. I mean, she was sitting there and she was trying to give her 2 cents during the Thunder Rosa Camille match. And I was like, I just not that strong. So I don't know if she's going to start wrestling again, maybe for the NWA, or try to do some commentary. I don't know. I just
like she'll be wrestling for sure. And she'll be one of their feature women on the roster, so which
is fine. Hey, if you want to get back in the ring, cool. Just keep her away from the commentary table. That's all I'll say. But yeah, Austin Idol, the promo he did and stuff, I thought that was fun. And yeah, you're right. During the main event, I enjoyed him on the main event, doing the as a third man speaking. But yeah, I felt like he kind of cut off Tim Storm a lot. And even Tim Storm a couple times, I think he was trying to give like a thought, but then he would just stop mid sentence. So I'm sure for Tim Storm, just needs some more repetition, just get some more opportunity. So I'm excited to see what Tim Storm can grow into as a fun babyface color commentator for them. So yeah, the opening match, it was that 4-way match, Slice Boogie taking on Crimson, Jack Stane, and Jordan Clearwater. And you brought up something on Twitter that Tommy and I were actually talking about. You thought it should have been a tag match, right?
Well, yeah, because Jack Stane and Crimson are a regular tag team. They do like a Road Warrior gimmick. I think Animal kind of came out.
Yeah.
Gave them their blessing, not to be the Road Warriors, but Road Warrior S team. And it was kind of like, why have a random 4-way when you just easily do a tag team match, right? Mm-hmm. And I guess they made at least they made it a reason for it. They said a future shot at a championship. What championship? I don't know. They didn't really specific about that. And I also thought like it was just a cold 4-way match. They had, I don't know how far in advance they had to produce the show, but they had, I assume they had some time, right?
Yeah.
Film some stuff. Film a little 45-second vignette on who these guys are, and a little, talk about Jack Stane. Talk about being a former NWA World Champion, and etc. I'm in there against my partner, but I'm doing this for a future opportunity. Blah blah blah. And even when Slice Boogie won, which was a surprise win, right?
Yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah.
They should have had an interview with him right after that match, as this, just can't get over personality and stuff. They interviewed him for Power on their television show, but like, you gotta strike then. Like, who is this guy? Why is it such a big deal that he won this match? He came out of nowhere. No one really knows who Slice Boogie is. I know he is because he's from Southern California and he was trained by Santino Brothers, a good school. And he actually came up from one of the APW shows a long time as just a drive up to get on the show. We didn't have a spot for him, but he wanted to show face, and that was cool.
Wow.
And he helped ring and everything. He's a good kid,
Awesome.
And that's really him. He's from New York, and that's that's not a gimmick. That's him.
Yeah.
So, and we saw on Power, he has a good good personality, a great voice, that great thick New York accent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, showcase it here on the pay-per-view. I think more people would probably tune into pay-per-view than would Powerrr, honestly. So,
yeah, no, we saw him at West Coast Pro Wrestling not too long ago. And he comes out, with the New York Mets colors, so the orange and blue, so obviously representing New York, where he's from. So, no, I was shocked, too, that he got the win. Good for him, and if he's going to be one of the new young talents, because that's the thing, NWA is something we've been talking about in previous episodes as far as, okay, a lot of their big name talent have moved on, signed AEW, NXT, wherever, and so they got to restock their roster. Now, sure, there's a lot of talented independent wrestlers out there. I mean, a lot of them are probably unknowns to the masses, but hey, that's who you can tap into, just restock your roster and create some new stars. And so when Slice Boogie was announced, I'm like, okay, awesome. So if he's one of the new young signees for them, I'm happy for him, because in that way, this could be a great opportunity for him to show his stuff and grow and build up his own brand. So I was super happy. Next up was Tyrus taking on JR Kratos. Your boy Kratos, obviously, dude, I mean, anyone who lives in Northern California knows how dominant has been for years in the Northern California wrestling scene. Former APW Universal Champion. He's done it all. I mean, like, you can't go to an APW show without Kratos being on the card. I felt like for years. So he so awesome that he's just getting, in the last couple of years, his stock has risen between the tour he did with All Japan, the stuff he's been doing with New Japan on Strong, if I remember correctly. One half of the NWA tag titles now, most recently, and Primetime Live. But this match, Tyrus, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I know him as Funkasaurus in WWE back in the day, and I know he does stuff for Fox News now. I don't keep track too much of him. I just looked on Twitter, and a lot of people didn't care for him, and I guess there's some allegations and some other stuff. I didn't research much of it, but he has some baggage right now. So it's kind of unfortunate that I felt like people were not paying attention to this match because of Tyrus. And I was watching, obviously, for Kratos. But yeah, what did you think about the match itself?
Well, that's one of the reasons why I decided to watch this, is to support, JR Kratos in this match. I saw the booking of it, and I kind of knew who was going over right away when I saw it, and Tyrus could go over. And it was one of those matches when it's over, you kind of think, like, you know what, the wrong guy won. I get why they booked it. And here's what I would have done. If you want to put Tyrus on the card and JR on the card, just book 2 quick squash matches, or you have Tyrus go out there. He was the heel of the match, right? He was the heel. He came out there. He's upset that no one's interviewing him. No one's talking to him. Like, they could have had that on the show. Like, Tyrus is going to make an appearance, and he kind of like, hey, no one's interviewing me. No one's told me what to do. I'm going to go out there and smash someone. And he just smashes someone later tonight or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you just beat someone, someone else on the card. Keep it simple. And I thought JR did a tremendous job in this match, really, really making Tyrus stuff look good. Tyrus is just like a huge guy, slow moving, JR, I think, has been on a roll, just like with his work. He just had like one of the best I honestly think his best match of his career versus Fred Rosser at New Japan Strong recently. It was a hell of a main event.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's good that NWA has these former guys that have been on national television and WWE, Impact, etc. But, like, you got to filter in some of these newer guys that don't, that you can build up and can build credibility on these. You use these stars' credibility to build these guys up, And, after I watched Powerrr, I really got frustrated with what they've been doing with JR. But we'll talk about that shortly.
Yeah.
But, here he was the babyface in this match with Tyrus, fighting from behind underneath the whole time.
Yeah.
And he had some kind of arm injury, which at first I thought maybe he did have an arm injury but that was a story. But apparently on Powerrr, it seemed to be okay. So I don't know if he may have hurt it in Powerrr. I don't know how they taped the sequence of shows, but either way. I
think they did NWA, the pay-per-view, live on Sunday, And I think they filmed everything else on Monday, because on Power, even though it's Tuesday, they kept saying yesterday this, yesterday that. And I'm like, it was just foreshadowing. Oh yeah, it's obviously you guys are taping Power the next day after the pay-per-view, because you kept saying yesterday, not this past Sunday or 2 days ago.
After what I saw in Power, I can see they have some plan for JR. So I'm not he's not just there to get, be a whooping boy or anything like that. But like, I just would have gone a different route with him, and I'll explain that when we talk about Power.
And yeah, Tyrus just moving really slow. I thought he looked kind of gassed pretty early on, so I was like,
he's probably not wrestling regularly. I mean, a lot of these guys aren't wrestling regularly. So, a lot of the ring rust there, the ring cardio's not there for these guys yet, but they'll get there. Most of them will get there, I think.
Yeah. And then next up was the World Television Championship match. The Pope taking on Tom Latimer from Strictly Business, Nick Aldis's faction. It was a draw. Went the full 10 minutes and 5 seconds, the time limit. Good match. I mean, these are two guys who've been on NWA back on when NWA Powerrr first debuted, so they've been kind of the OGs of this current incarnation. I enjoyed this match. I mean, Tom Latimer, I'm curious if this guy could eventually be like a heavyweight champion for them at some point. I mean, the Pope, he's such a great talker. When he came to NWA originally, he was kind of like a manager, but so then he transitioned back into the ring. So it was like, it's interesting, and he got the title off Zicky Dice from Primetime Live last year. So it's I'm like, okay, I guess he's gonna be doing the wrestling thing. Maybe the manager thing could be something down the road again. But good back and forth match. I mean, just these are more the pros on the roster, so I enjoyed the match they put on here.
Yeah, it was a good match. Once they announced the TV title 6:05 time limit was changed to 10:05, I knew it was going Broadway again. I just knew it was going way to kind of get that over. But it was a good, professional match. I like Tom Latimer. I think obviously he has a great look. Mm-hmm. I think he's a good worker. So I liked what I saw. And Pope looked good too as well. So
yeah. And then next up, a women's match to determine the number one contender for the World Women's Championship, currently held by Serena Deeb. Camille taking on Thunder Rosa. And Thunder Rosa, what a week she's had. I mean, the brutal main event that she had with Britt Baker last week on Dynamite, the non-sanctioned match. And so she took on Camille here. I was kind of hoping the commentary were going to sell that more. Like, she's coming off this brutal beatdown, thumbtacks, and cut open, busted open. And, is she at fully 100% for this match? It didn't really sell that, I thought. And because on paper, you're like, okay, Thunder Rosa, she's been one of the top women wrestlers in the last year, especially in the pandemic. She's been really thriving under AEW. Camille hasn't wrestled at all, even though she's the big, just from a look wise, the big monster. You would think Thunder Rosa would have the advantage. But I think to sell Camille, the fact that, she is still very green in the ring, her one advantage is she's, healthy right now. And Thunder Rosa's beaten up after the match just a few days prior with Britt Baker. So they didn't really sell that. And then this match went really long too. And Thunder Rosa, to her credit, I thought she was selling her ass off for Camille. But I felt like a lot of talking. You can see them like talking back and forth a lot, calling their spots out. I don't know about yourself. I mean, I just thought it went way too long, and I was surprised to see Camille pick up the victory though.
No, everything you said, I agree with. I thought the same thing. They just had this match on television between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. This brutal match. Thunder Rosa comes out as normal as can be. No tape, no ribs tape, no nothing, just nothing. She's not. They mentioned it on commentary, but they didn't really sell it. And this could have been a story of the match that like you said, they could have played off. Where Thunder Rosa, she has the more experience and has been on this role. Like, she's hurt and has to fight from behind now. And this could have been a way to shorten this match up, because Camille, great look. Has a great presence in the ring. Is really green, and you do not want her going too long. And they did.
Yeah.
And it exposed her. And at one point, the match started off okay. Like I said, I thought they're really doing a smart thing. They're protecting Camille here. It's going to be a shorter match. No, it goes to the floor. and they fight on the floor for seems like forever. That poor referee was buried. I mean, he didn't even sit. He's like, he just gets out of the ring and says, "I'm just not going to count anymore," because no one's breaking counts. It's really, this was, I think, the weakest match on the show because it was just poorly worked. As kept falling apart. It wasn't horrible. I wouldn't say falling apart, but I was saying it was just wasn't worked well. And Camille, like I said, keep it short. God, this could have been such an easy story to sell. With that injury that she suffered from that match, I don't know why they didn't just play it. And plus, it protects Thunder Rosa and gives Thunder Rosa a reason, like, hey, Camille beats Serena for the title, and now Thunder Rosa's going back for it. Now she's 100%, and now it's a whole different story with Camille. But whatever. I mean,
I hear. No, I'm with you. It was just like they could have just sold. Like everyone knows what Thunder Rosa did 4 days prior to that match. It's like she was like on a main event of a nationally televised wrestling show, AEW on TNT. Everyone knows she went to hell and back with Britt Baker, thumbtacks, and went through tables and just all the stuff that happened. We know, it's like, and this match was filmed after. You could easily, taped her up like you said, and just really sell the fact that she's not 100%, but she had her commitment and wanted to be there for the NWA, the first pay-per-view back. And, they could have done a lot more for the dramatics, and then Camille could easily, use that to her advantage. But I mean, hopefully, maybe they'll address it down the road again.
Probably not.
And then next up, I know, probably not. I mean, and that's NWA National Championship match, or as May Valentine likes to call it, the Worldwide National Championship, the NWA Worldwide National Championship. John, I know I texted you that earlier. I seriously was watching this, and so they were doing the backstage interviews, and Trevor Murdoch, May Valentine was interviewing him and says, you're getting ready to defend your Worldwide National Championship. I looked at my brother, Worldwide National Championship? Wait, that's two different things. Worldwide, like World's Heavyweight Champion, and National that's two different realms that a championship could be, you could be the champion of, territory. May Valentine, I've heard a lot of great things. I heard she's very nice. People I know that worked with her, she's very nice, cool. Just the backstage commentary stuff, at least for this pay-per-view, not that well, not very smooth. Like I said, I don't want to bag on anyone. Listen, I know I'm not perfect with, with things I do, and
don't sugarcoat it. I mean, she didn't have a good night. She didn't have a good night. I'll say. I mean, she's green.
Yeah. It takes practice.
It takes practice on this show. I guess it's more of a limited audience. You can try some things out.
Yeah.
Give her a shot. So, but I mean, she was extremely nervous. You could tell.
Yeah.
Right? And even at one point, I think they said, "Okay, go," and she's like still staring right into the camera. And
yes.
There
was some production and audio issues throughout this show as well. Even the beginning, when they started the show and they had the music blasting and Joe Galli's talking, you could barely hear him. Like the levels were off, and there's some of the camera cutaways and stuff. It wasn't a perfect executed show. I will say that. Rust, for everyone, from the wrestlers to the production team and stuff. I get that. May Valentine, like I said, I want her to succeed. I want her to do well. I just felt it was an off night for her. I hope she gets better. Practice, work on your craft. As someone who's been in the broadcast industry for a long time, I know it just takes time and practice, and having right teachers and mentors around you. So I want her to succeed. So I'll just say that. So
was this film live? Was it live?
I think so. Because remember at the very end when they did the tribute to Question Mark, like they cut. Well, I don't know. See, I watched it live. They cut away as if the show was over, and then they cut back to everyone in the ring. So like Nick Aldis won and was standing there, and they cut away, and then they came back for everyone in the ring to celebrate and do the Question Mark stuff. So I don't know. It had to be live.
Maybe not put her in this position to do a live backstage interview, and just kind of film something to where she could take multiple takes and everything. You can cut it up. So
yeah. But the match itself, Trevor Murdoch defending against Chris Adonis, aka Chris Masters of WWE fame. I really enjoyed this match. I mean, it's two polar opposites body wise. You know, Chris Adonis, he's definitely Paul Orndorff-esque. You know, just the big muscular dude, and even like Lex Luger in the 90s, just, you know, focus on just his body. And Trevor Murdoch, dude, just a country boy with a belly. I mean, he looks like me in the ring. You know, if I had no shirt on, say it in the ring. I love Trevor Murdoch in that sense. But this was a good match. Even Trevor Murdoch jumping off the rope and, you know, just landing
crossbody. Beautiful. That was a beautiful flying crossbody.
It was great. So I had a lot of fun with this match.
It's better than some little guys do it. Like he had this was Roland Alexander, the former owner of APW, and you know, the APW Boot Camp Training Center he would tell the guys, I want that arc on that flying crossbody, and like big Trevor Murdoch got that arch. I was like, dude, Roland would have loved that, you know. And this was, in my opinion, the best match so far of the night.
Yeah.
It was really well done. There's only one part that just drove me nuts. And I don't call the guy about this, but like when Trevor Murdoch gave Chris Adonis the side Russian leg sweep.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? One of the things that just my pet peeve is like when a guy like fixes his hair and adjusts his knee pad. Like you just took a move and you're fixing your hair and adjusting a knee pad. Like that stuff just drives me insane, you know. Like, but other than that little small detail, and I don't know why I was even pointing it out, but I am like. The match was overall a solid professional wrestling match.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know where Trevor Murdoch got that big long cut on his back. Did you see that?
No, I gotta look at that again. Look at the on photos or something. I didn't notice that.
And they said he was injured or something like that for the Power show, right? So
is it what? I have to double check on that.
I think he might have been scheduled for that main event Power, but that's what Pope took that spot.
Oh, okay. I hope he's okay.
About in their opening interview that Murdoch was at the hospital, but I mean, I didn't see any like major injury, but
yeah,
a long cut on his back I don't remember them going on the outside or anything. So,
oh wow. Well, I mean, Trevor Murdoch picked up the victory, so I wonder if Chris Adonis is gonna be with NWA for a while. I mean, I think that'd be a good get for the NWA as far as restacking the roster. Someone who has WWE experience as well. I know he's been doing the indie thing for years since leaving WWE. I mean, he did some stuff in Impact and Global Force. So I think
with APW, we booked him many times for APW. Funny guy, great guy. Chris Adonis, like personality outside the ring to like in the ring is like totally different. You know, like
really,
he's just a funny dude. Like just total. Like I remember one time he was just like. Talking West Coast, he's just I don't know, just a funny guy. But I like Chris Adonis. He's a good worker, good talent, and always a great professional with us. So.
Awesome, that's great. And then main event time for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Nick Aldis taking on Aaron Stevens. This match was partly in tribute, in honor of the question mark, aka Josephus, aka Joseph Hudson, who. If you watch NWA for years, you know, he's been a part of that show, the brand, for a long time. So Aaron Stevens, who was working with him when he was the question mark, you know, obviously and was a real life friend with him, wanted to pay tribute and have this match against Nick Aldis. This match went almost a full 22 minutes. I really enjoyed it. My brother really enjoyed it. It was a great, just basic wrestling match. Just jumping ahead to the end, my brother really enjoyed that Aaron Stevens had, you know, put his submission hold on Nick Aldis, but Nick didn't submit. And then Nick Aldis did his, the Texas Cloverleaf, submission. Aaron Stevens didn't, submit as well. And they eventually went outside the ring, and the struggle, the dramatic of trying to get back into the ring to fight back in. And then the match ultimately ended in a rolled up. So my brother liked that. It was like an old school match where it's like both guys give the other guy their submission. Neither one of them tap out, fight their way from the floor back in. And then it's ultimately just a quick roll up. So he just liked that form of storytelling. It's like, you had to, it's a desperate move. You got to do a roll because obviously your submission move is not going to work for this particular match. So he really enjoyed that storytelling of it. How about you with this main event?
Yeah, this match was. I mean, this was ended up being the best match of the night. It was really a great story they told in the ring. But you had two professional wrestlers telling a really good professional wrestling story, like in the ring. I mean, that's I think a strength of the NWA. They have guys that, like I said, done national television, that has experience on the road, worked with countless people, and they have the experience level to give these professional quality matches. I like this match. It felt like a throwback match.
Yeah.
A match I kind of want to see back with more, and like I hope a lot of young guys would watch this match, and like you can see Aaron Stevens selling and Nick Aldis giving time to sell. Like a lot of guys don't give you guys this time to sell what they just did to them. They're already on and to do another move. Like, you got to get these moves over and give the guys sell it. And he's so Aaron Stevens is really good. Aldis is good. He plays that champion role really well and carries himself as champion. The finish was interesting because Aaron Stevens hit some, I don't know if it was a DDT or some kind of move, an arm breaker move. I don't know what it was, but like all this quickly popped up, and like this is the only time I didn't see him really do sell up, slowly. He kind of like popped up and he looked at the referee, and I think he told the referee, "Okay, it's time to go home." And then that's when they went home, and so I think that's where they were at. But I enjoyed the story, and of course the emotional part of the story with the recent passing of Josephus is, that was, I got a little misty eyed, seeing his, I think it was his wife, right, that was out there.
Yeah, with the flag. Yeah, I think so.
I mean, gosh, he's 43. I'm 43. Like it's just it's sad. And I like Josephus as a worker. I mean, I didn't really get I didn't really watch NWA Powerrr with the question mark stuff. I heard it was very popular and people loved it. But
karate.
As like the Bruiser Brody, he had the Bruiser Brody look, but he was a little different than Bruiser Brody in his, at least his ring work. So
it was more like a cult leader.
Yeah.
As far as what I remember on the 10 Pound of Gold series, the Josephus character, he was more like a cult leader. He would have the long hair, but he had like, his followers, and he had like the white outfit. Let's see. I think that's when he was going up against Tim Storm, and they had that empty arena match, if I remember correctly. I mean, this is a few years ago now, but yeah, he was very much like a.
That's what I watched of him on the NWA Powerrr stuff.
Yeah, so it was like he was like a cult leader. So he was just like the long hair was just part of just more of that look for that part of it, not so much like a Bruiser Brody-esque person. Even though he did play Bruiser Brody on Dark Side of the Ring, he was the actor.
And he did have that look before NWA Powerrr. He had like the vest and the boots and stuff, But I liked him. I like, shoot me, how many guys that size are out there? We got a bunch of little guys running around doing flips. Like, it's nice to see a big dude of 6 foot something and almost 300 pounds, and it's like nice to change it up a little bit here.
And his hair was growing back out because he lost in a match to, I think, David Arquette. I think it was at the NWA 70 show or something, but he had to shave it all off, and so it's been growing back out. So that's why when he came back, it was shorter compared to his long hair days. So there's just a little backstory there. No, but this match was great. And then afterwards, they had the tribute. They all got in the ring and just paid tribute. And Aaron Stevens, obviously dedicated to his son, Joseph Hudson's son, had the great promo before the match. Just the emotion there. Even Nick Aldis, the promo he did. So it's a great show. I mean, if you have time to watch the replay on Fight TV, I highly recommend it. It's just good old wrestling. That it is what it is. I really enjoy this. I'm looking forward to what more they can do. I'm glad that they're back, even though now NWA Powerrr, which we'll touch on real quick here, back on Tuesday. So it's like another wrestling show on Tuesday to talk about and look forward to. So if it's already a stacked card already for the week of wrestling, there's so much there. But NWA Powerrr, the first episode of this new incarnation was back. The new season, I guess you want to call it that, was this Tuesday today on Fight TV. And so I was kind of curious when they announced the Fight TV deal. I was like, how's this going to work? So we're so used to YouTube where it was just up there on YouTube and you just watch it. So with Fight TV, so I just did a little investigation like 30 minutes before the show started. So you subscribe to NWA Powerrr on Fight TV. It's $4.99 a month. You get access to the shows, each episode when they air. And I was like, oh, $4.99 a month, so $5 a month. So if they do one episode a week for a month, that's like $1.25 an episode. I was like, that's not bad. I'll do that. So
Tommy can owe you $250 a month.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, Tommy, it's no one less Rockstar energy drink. Just give me that $2.50. And my brother doesn't drink coffee. He drinks Rockstars like at noon. So
Right, like, wait a minute, this deal sucks. I gotta have my Rockstar.
I need my
Sorry,
Rockstar.
Tommy, I'd much rather watch professional wrestling than that damn energy drink. You gotta stop that.
We got to support Nick Aldis, not Rockstar. So
That's what makes him such a great cook, baby. That's why he's hopped up on Rockstars. He just like wait, you know.
dude, I mean, listen, my body size, I mean, my physique, I thank Tommy. Hence why I was able to get my vaccine shot and everything. But
So you're saying when the pandemic ends, I gotta go to the Baby Huey's house for a pay-per-view watch because there's gonna be good eats.
Dude, not to go off subject, but before the pandemic, when we had the Super Bowl, we had a bunch of our family come over, and Tommy, oh my God, he makes these spicy Korean barbecue wings. Oh, I love them. When his personal chicken wings, where he takes the time and flours and bakes them and oil, all that's so good.
All right, I'm just over. I'm getting my keys. Tell him to start working on because I gotta pick up a 12-piece wing.
Dude, it's better than Wingstop. Everything. I personally.
Perfect.
So, and that's the thing. We're almost be vaccinated soon. We all can hang out again and all that good stuff. But yeah, NWA Powerrr back. I love the intro. They went back to Dawkins into the fire. Because they did that, and then they switched to Pantera for a couple months. I love Pantera. I grew up loving Pantera, but the Dawkins into the fire.
Don't mess with that theme. It's perfect.
It's perfect. Yeah. And then, so the show started. Tim Storm, Joe Galley back on commentary, and then Velvet Sky was sitting there. I was like, Velvet Sky from TNA? Like, what? How'd this happen? So yeah, let's just talk about it. Velvet Sky, I listen. I always enjoyed her work, but her commentary tonight, she was just very low energy, monotone. I don't know what was up with her. Like
during the pandemic, she was doing ASMR videos of relaxation. That's what I felt like when she was every time she talked.
Yeah,
you're gonna relax and take a deep breath. I was like, okay, Velvet, please talk to me.
Well, that's the thing. It's like the one match, she's like, yes, I know about that move. I've done that move before.
Is there a 900 number I called?
But seriously, like I said, I'm a big fan of Velvet Sky, and I know she's like, I don't know if she is with Bully Ray or Bubba Dudley, whatever you want to call him by. I know they've been a couple for a long time, but so I want to be careful what to say. I don't want him to come hunt me down or anything. But it's like the way she was talking was like, yes, I remember that move. I'd done that move before. It hurts a lot. Like, or whatever she was saying. I was like, what is going on here? It's like, come on, Velvet, like, put some energy into it.
She's retired officially.
Yeah.
Well, wrestling, so.
Yeah, well, nothing's forever, but I think she was like a trainer now or something. Like, last thing I saw on her Instagram or something, I think she was like a personal trainer or something.
Oh, yeah, I thought you meant wrestling trainer, but personal trainer. Yeah, I mean, she could have been good for the backstage interview, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're just trying to get. I don't know. The goal is just to get a pretty girl on the show, or
listen.
Not a 3-man booth guy. Just keep it Galley and Storm. That's the formula. And every once in a while, you have a guest commentator that maybe is like Pope's gonna watch that 3-way match earlier on the show.
Yeah,
future contender for his title. That makes sense there. But like
he jumped in. Yeah, I liked when he was there. He did commentary for TNA for years. So I think after Taz was gone, or before, whatever it was. But my only guess is, some people that they have on this roster working commentary or backstage, or maybe they have a big social media following and that helps promote the show as well. So from a business marketing standpoint, that's the only thing I could think of. Maybe, Velvet Sky, she can like tweet out or post on Instagram updates from NWA and that helps the brand out. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I anyone that's on TV or on this show, I want them to succeed. So I want them to get better. It's just, if I was like a producer or something behind the scenes there, I would say, hey, Velvet, okay, you did a great job with this, but here, let's pick up your energy here. Like, give her some more direction. Maybe that's what she needs.
Yeah. And maybe that's her first time. I mean, I'm sure she's done I don't know if she's done commentary before, or maybe I'm sure she's done a guest spot, I don't know, an Impact show here and there. She's probably had to go to the booth and did, commentate on a match.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not a whole show yet. So like I'm sure she'll, hopefully she'll improve and grow into it.
Yeah. And then, so opening match, Camille, kind of a squash match, taking on Alex Gracia, who was brought over from Thunder Rosa. I guess Thunder Rosa trainer or works with her. So that's cool that Thunder Rosa
trying to be like a moolah and booking women talent for shows. I think because I think she did bring some people to AEW. I think that one girl, what's her name, Renkowski? That was the tournament. So I mean, after Renkowski's performance in the AEW Women's Tournament, I probably wouldn't take a recommendation from Thunder Rosa again. But this match was, like you said, a squash match. Poor Alex. Well, not poor her. It's her fault. You saw the bloody nose, right?
Yeah.
You know where that was from?
No, I just noticed. I was like, whoa, she's bleeding.
So Camille had her in the torture rack.
Yeah.
And he lifted her up overhead, pressed her, and slammed her down in front of her. She went straight down. She didn't turn her head. So she went right down on her nose. Bink.
Whoa. Okay.
Because I'm like, where'd that come from? I kept rewinding it to kind of see. And there it was. Boom. And then I'm rewatching it. I was like, oh, shoot, man. I don't know why she didn't turn her head. Maybe it was too fast. Maybe Camille was too fast with it. Didn't give her some time to kind of.
Yeah, because Tommy and I were watching, and it was like she did a torture rack, and I think she did 3 thrusts, whatever you want to call it.
I think I know where it happened now. Now, yeah. So on the third thrust, she threw her down.
Yeah,
and I think maybe Alex was trying to think, oh, she's gonna lift me up and go down. And it was like up and down fast. So
it was quick. But technically. Well, here's the thing. Isn't technically the torture rack a submission hold? Right. I mean, my brother was like, shouldn't the ref be kind of counting or checking? She was just shaking her and then she just threw her. And I thought, I remember when Lex Luger would do it, it was always the person would quit and submit right there. So that's why I was kind of like, okay, she just did she shook her 3 times and then quickly flung her over her head. I was like, whoa. So I don't know. I was just kind of I'm used to Lex Luger. He's the standard of a torture rack.
Gracia should have still turned her face.
Yeah. And then, so Camille booked strong, and it looks like, they're starting to build up for potentially her and Serena Deeb.
Second spear, unnecessary, I would say.
Why?
There's no need to have the girls, and this poor girl, she's totally green. They're both green, but Gracia's so green, she sells up for this second spear, and it's she's just so green. She's just standing up straight right away instead of slowly. It's just looked like crap. The first one looked good. Should have went home with that one. Yeah,
Tim Storm said she had to do a second one to really solidify. Tim Storm tried to cover it up a little bit, if I remember correctly.
Make a statement. She just beat a job girl we don't even know, unless you're watch AEW Dark.
Yeah. So Camille, I guess, they'll start playing up her and Serena Deeb at some point. Austin Idol comes out, introduced Tyrus as his new client. So I'm guessing, all right, so Austin Idol's going to be a manager for NWA. Cool. All right. Tyrus. Okay. I guess that's cool. So they just cut a promo, but, I think it was Idol on the pay-per-view when he first came to the table. His promo was really long-winded, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So that was still in my head. So when he came out today, I was kind of like, how long is this gonna be? But then luckily Tyrus grabbed the microphone, said some stuff as well, and then they left, and then we saw the commercial for Idol's wrestling school as well in South Carolina. I was like, great.
Well, then we realized, we know why they put these two together, because even though Tyrus, he speaks well on the Fox show. I assume so. They wouldn't have him on there if he didn't.
Yeah.
But wrestling promo, he needs a manager.
Yeah.
And but here's the thing: they could have used this. This could have happened on the show, on the pay-per-view, and then announced on the pay-per-view. Tyrus makes his debut on NWA Powerrr. Make sure you turn it on Tuesday to see it. And then and JR could have beat some other guy, you know, and then Tyrus on the show could have just squashed some poor dude.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That it's the little things like that. But next up, a triple threat match. Matt Cross, of course, of Lucha Underground fame, and Marche, Rocket, and Fred Rosser, who you were just talking about. Him and Kratos had a great match on New Japan Strong, and obviously we know him as Darren Young, of course, in WWE fame, one half of the Primetime Players with Titus O'Neil. So yeah, this match was number one contendership. TV title for that the Pope has, and the Pope was out there on commentary, and it was a good match. I mean, Fred Rosser, after you told me about his great work recently, I was watching him, and yeah, he was another solid performance from him.
Rosser is really good, and I was excited to see him on the show. I didn't know I don't know what matches they had until I didn't hear his name. I was actually watching him. I was watching the kids, so I couldn't hear all the commentary, and so he showed up. I'm like, oh, cool. You know, that's a good pickup because his work has been so good. And he's probably always been good, but I just didn't notice because I barely saw him on WWE television. I wasn't watching the events and stuff. So, but like his run in New Japan Strong has been like, I look forward to his matches on New Japan Strong. And then, like I said, anyone out there listening right now who has the New Japan World and you know, you've watched Strong here and there, make sure you check out JR, Kratos, and Fred Rosser. It's a hell of a pro wrestling match. And this three-way was good. Marseille Rocket, I guess he was from the Impact. He did some Impact stuff.
Okay.
2017, I think he was. Big guy, 6'4", moved really well, threw a hell of a drop kick. That's a nice investment, you know, a guy like that. Like to see him get back to that Impact look, you know, size, and you know, a little bit of the pandemic on him, but you know, a little pandemic weight. We all kind of have that. So I like to see him lean out. I think he's a nice, you know, not a well-known name that they can kind of groom, make their own, you know. And you know, it was a good match, and Roster won, so you know, good move.
Good for him. Yeah, totally. And then next up, Mike Perro taking on Jordan Clearwater. Jordan Clearwater was also in that fatal four-way on pay-per-view. One of the younger guys, looks like part of the NWA roster now. My brother thought he looked like the guy from CSI and NYPD Blue.
Russo?
Yeah.
What's his name?
David
Caruso.
Yeah, David Caruso and Tommy. David Caruso. So Tommy tweeted that out, and Jordan Clearwater liked the tweet. So I was like, okay, cool. So again, in his head, he looks like a buff.
He was like 20-something years old. He's probably he's probably like, who the hell's
David Caruso. And then for me, when he told me that, I was like, Mike Perro, he looks like Bert Kreischer, the comedian. So I was like, it's Bert Kreischer taking on David Caruso match.
Perro, I mean, he's a big guy. I haven't really been that impressed with him. I mean, I've seen the stuff in All Japan. He was out there with, God, what's his name? Orion or Obsidian or something like that. They were kind of booked like the Road Warriors out there, but I don't see the aggressiveness out of him. I think he plays the part, but doesn't play it the best. I don't know. I never really impressed him. Nothing really stuck out like, oh, other than size, I didn't really see anything that's like, oh man, you know, this guy, someone want to invest in.
Yeah, I know he's also been doing work with MLW. I haven't had a chance to see his work there. I mean, yeah, it was, you know, big guy versus little guy type of match, and he ultimately picked up the victory, which makes sense because he is the veteran in this match here. Yeah, he was trying to do some power moves, but nothing was like, oh my God, that was like a really awesome spot right there. I guess, like what you say, like maybe another veteran for the roster, kind of a good role to have. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. Good for him. So, next up, a segment that I was kind of just taken back on. I thought it was didn't seem very planned out. So Thunder Rosa comes back out. She cuts a promo, and she just ultimately says she wants the NWA title back. Great. Melina comes back out, which I was surprised to see Melina, because there were rumors that she was going to potentially re-sign with WWE. Looks like those plans fell through. I mean, I know her, and I thought her contract expired last year with NWA. I don't know if she's back, re-signed by date appearance. Who knows? But she's talking to Thunder Rosa, and I felt like it was kind of an incoherent promo of like why she's out there, and it took me a minute to figure it out. And more or less, she just says, "Listen, I know we have history together. Before the pandemic, they looked like they were gonna have like a match against each other, or they had like a falling out. I remember that. That's been a while now. She has a lot of respect for Thunder Rosa as a Latina, a female wrestler. What she's been doing as of late, and Thunder Rosa has had a lot of respect for you, what you've done in the past, and set the roadway for female Latina wrestlers as well. So Melina was like almost getting like teary eyed, and I was kind of like, what is going on? It's like why are you getting all teary eyed? It's not that emotional, but she just says she wants to work with her again and like offers her service, but Thunder Rosa declines, which makes sense. She's been kicking ass by herself. She doesn't need Melina and all the drama they've had before on NWA Powerrr television. So I don't know about you. Was there anything else? I mean, I guess it makes sense. I think as a strong babyface, she's like, no, I don't need you. I can do my own thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is like you said, a weak segment. I just thought like, okay, Melina's going to turn on her because I'm sure Melina's probably going to end up, hey, I have a tag match, I need a partner kind of deal, turn on her or something like that. I'm guessing some way. I think he sets up something for the future with that. Because I think when Melina came in, like Thunder Rosa was her enforcer, right? That's how Thunder Rosa started, and then she kind of broke out of that. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think she's plotting her revenge, and she's trying to give Thunder Rosa just kind of like keeping her on her, just kind of going to trick her and take advantage.
Absolutely. Yeah. Totally. And then main event time, 6-man tag. So we have Nick Aldis, Tom Latimer from Strictly Business, and they added Chris Adonis to help fill out their team. Taking on JR Kratos, Aaron Stevens, so they are the current NWA tag champions. So it's good to see them walk out their titles. And the Pope filled out their team. A good match overall. Again, all those guys out on the card for this show. Aaron Stevens, so between his promo, his match on the pay-per-view, what he did here, it almost looks like he's beginning this babyface turn. And jumping ahead to the finish here, Kratos wanted to use a chair. I believe it was Adonis in the ring, or someone was in the ring, and he was getting ready to use it. Aaron came from behind, grabbed the chair, and says, no, we're not going to use a chair. We're not going to do it like that. And Kratos was like, what are you talking about? Getting frustrated. And then Chris Adonis, I think, got the roll up on Kratos, and Kratos ate the pin, and therefore the heels of this match, I guess, technically won. And so then Kratos was looking, I was like, what the hell, man? Like, I was trying to win with the chair shot. And he's like, no, we're not going to do it like that. Got the NWA tag title handed to him, like, here's your half, this belongs to you. Like, let's go in the back and kind of, figure things out. So you can tell there's tension building already of this makeshift tag team here. And so you and I were texting earlier. I assume maybe they're going to have a title defense soon. They're going to lose it. Kratos is going to get pissed and turn on Aaron Stevens. Aaron Stevens solidifies himself as a babyface. Kratos becomes a heel. I mean, that seems like maybe the easy storyline here. But I don't know if your thoughts on the main event itself, and then maybe this potential storyline that they're creating.
I mean, on its own, it was a good match. I just was so confused because I just saw on the pay-per-view that JR Kratos as a babyface is fighting from behind with this heel Tyrus, who's been cheating the whole match and raking eyes and stuff. And now Kratos on this show is heel Kratos and upset with his partner for, getting his butt whipped. It just didn't make sense to me. I think they already have enough heels in this promotion. You don't need another heel. I think Kratos is a guy you could build to as a future contender to Nick Aldis. That would be something different and something, fresh. Kratos should be booked as a babyface. They have enough heels on their roster, as I said earlier, and it's just really confusing. If you watched the pay-per-view before, you'll be confused here. And I thought this was a good opportunity to kind of build a contender for Nick Aldis, a new contender, someone fresh. JR, who's been doing great work on In Japan Strong. They could have had a match where, when Kratos tagged him into Aldis, he's overpowering Aldis. Aldis like, holy cow, this kid is like I don't want to mess with this kid. So he tags out, doesn't want to even mess with JR Kratos. And you could build to something that, you know what they also thought they missed a boat on? It's like, where is the follow-up promo by Aaron Stevens on this show? After that emotional loss to Nick Aldis, like, he could have been, talking about, he knows, even though he lost, he thinks he did Josephus proud and his family proud and his son proud and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to get there. I'll get that championship again. But, Nick Aldis, taps JR on the shoulder. This is a guy you got to be worried about in the near future. Watch out for him. And then, you play that off in the tag match where, Aldis is like, I don't want to mess with that JR Kratos guy and stand away. So,
yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I mean, that could be a great way, like a follow-up promo. Aaron Stevens can easily be like, yeah, it's like, even though I lost, I hope, I did Josephus right. And, maybe I want to keep doing right by him. And maybe that kind of explains his motivation moving forward of trying to do the good thing. Hence why, Kratos using a chair shot, he's like, no, like, let's do the right way and win the right way. So I can see that from a motivation standpoint. That makes sense. And and then maybe putting over JR Kratos, and then Nick Aldis can be afraid of him. I love that idea there. So
I would have got rid of all the chair nonsense and just had, they could have cheated to beat Pope because Vladimir wants that TV title. So that could have been the finish there. And so, Aldis doesn't have to, beat anyone. And he doesn't have to get pinned to set up a future contender that can come down the line. But just show in the beginning, early on, that Aldis does not want to get in the ring with Kratos. He sees him as a threat because that power, he can't handle that power with what Kratos has, and he sees him as a future threat. So they could have told that story, and then that's why I think they should have done. I think they're already heel heavy. They don't need another one.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No, I'm with you. I'm looking forward to what can they do though and how to right the ship and all that stuff. So overall, I enjoyed NWA Powerrr this week. A lot of fun. Great to see them back. I'm happy for them. And then looking forward to see what else they can do. Hopefully maybe they get some more crossover, maybe use some AEW people as well if they have that relationship going, maybe Impact as well. So all that stuff. It's I'm looking forward to all that and see what they can do. So a lot more stuff we can talk about at a later time. And I know we're running a little bit long here. So as always, let's go ahead and start wrapping things up. John, where can all the good people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at LaRoccaJL, and I'm on the Fight Game podcast, Gary Gonzalez, on the Blue Wire Network. And we also have a Patreon, the Fight Game Media Network Patreon. We have a lot of great shows, and like I said, one of my favorite shows on there is Promise Thomas and Johnny Jeter from WWE fame, and talking about old classic matches and giving their thoughts on it and breaking it down. And it's like wrestling school, audio wrestling school for any young workers to really like. I think it's a great investment to hear those guys talk about and break down matches. They worked with a lot of great stars. They were trained by the greats. I mean, they know their shit. So it's well worth a young wrestler's time, and even a fan's time that wants to learn about what goes on in between those ropes.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great stuff there. And I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83. Of course, subscribe to In The Kliq on your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on social media. InTheKliq@gmail.com. Get the merch. So much more to talk about. We'll get you on again, John, again, and cover just all the other good things coming up. We're on the road to WrestleMania, so a lot of good times up ahead. So on that note, let's go home, and that's the bottom line because Huey said so.